Good morning and welcome to the new Saturday special of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. You must have observed that almost all Hindu prayers begin with the letter or word Om. And now, in recent times, with the spread of the concept of meditation and yogic practice, we have seen that this word Om has transcended the strict confines of Hinduism and has assumed wide prevalence among the world population. But is it so? Well, so recently a phenomenon? No. As a matter of fact, Om has been used practically all over the world, at least if not in the Western world, at least in two-thirds of the total world. You look at the Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Africans, Incas, the word Om in one variation or the other has been used. And there's a scientific reason for that. The word Om, when chanted by you, whether alone or in unison in a group, vibrates at the frequency of 432 hertz. Now, as a matter of fact, if you have noticed ever that everything in nature, the wind, the waves, the trees waving, the sparrows chirping, the bees humming, everything vibrates at the frequency 432 megahertz. And for 432 hertz is also the frequency on which the word Om, when recited, vibrates. As such, Om is a basic sound of the universe. So, by chanting it, people are symbolically and physically acknowledging the connectivity to nature and all other living beings. And that's why I say Om connects you with consciousness and with nature, with yourself. Now, when you make it a part of a daily routine, the basic vibration would be felt if you are really in a state of acceptance. And that is as far as your brain is concerned, your neurological order is concerned, because the sound waves when they travel send a certain message to you. As a matter of fact, I had severe pains of a different sort some years back, and my Israeli friend sent me an audio, a link, and the vibration sent by that helped me a lot. Physically, also, the act of chanting relaxes the body because it slows down the nervous system and calms the mind. So, chanting of Om in a way to open and close the practice, delineate it from the rest of the day, and designate a special time in which you care for yourself. This is, in fact, a part of mindfulness. And there's a story behind it in Indian mythology. How Kartikeya, the youngest son of Shiva, imprisoned Brahma himself for not knowing the real meaning of Om. It is held that the creation began with the use of Pranav mantra Om. Kartikeya was annoyed that the creator himself was using the mantra without knowing the meaning and the significance. Aghast at his son's act, Shiva said to asked of him whether he knew the meaning of Om. And Kartikeya then explained to Shiva the kernel of Om. And that is practically given in Mandukya Upanishad, which lays out the foundation and the depth of it. According to Mandukya Upanishad, Om transcends the three divisions. and thereafter time also. It is divine, imperishable, potent, and it is Parna, which means Shakti and control. It is a complete by itself. The shortest of Upanishads further states that, and Manduka, the shortest of Upanishads, others are very long, that the man abides in four states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and turiya. The first three states are denoted by the word A as an agnostic, U and OM, which are conjoined together, form the syllable Om. The silence that follows that syllable. As a fourth state, that is Turiya, simply means a fourth. The fourth state, according to Manduka Upanishad, is your soul. So that is as far as the Manduka is concerned. And the Atma, the Atma is the soul, which is signified by Om, is described by the positive and negative affirmations. The positives are quintessential tranquility, peace, poise, calmness, and it suffers from non-duality. But then there are other Upanishads also. They give different meaning. The descriptions include a sacred sound of the Vedas, the Ugita. The Ugita is the song of the universe, the infinite, all encompassing the whole world. There's another Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, and they say that Om is basically the first line of Rig Veda as well as an icon in temples and spiritual retreats. And Chandogya is the oldest Upanishad of Hinduism. It recommends. And the first sentence of Chandogya Upanishad is, let a man meditate on Om. It calls the word Om Ugadya, that is the sound, and asserts that the significance of the syllable is that essence of all earth is this. The second volume of the first chapter continues the discussion of Om, that it is basically a struggle between gods and demons. And Max Muller, when I was reading his translation, states that this struggle between the gods and demons is considered allegorically by ancient Indian scholars as good and evil. And Chandra Upanishad exposition of syllable Om in the opening chapter combines etymology. Basically, the second chapter, the meaning, goes to philosophical discourse. Then there's Katha Upanishad, which is stories. And here, Nachiketa's story, a little boy meets Yam and the Vedic deity of death. And the conversation happens to evolve around the nature of man, knowledge, soul, liberation. And the Katha Upanishad characterizes knowledge and wisdom as pursuit of good. And that the essence of that whole goodness is the word Om. Chapter 1, verse 2 of Katha Upanishad says, the syllable is the highest, and he who knows that syllable, whatever he desires is his. Then comes Maitri Upanishad, the sixth lesson, delivers the meaning of Om. Again, the same thing repeated in a different manner, that the sound is the body of the soul, and repeated in this manifestation of the sound gives a certain ointment, salve, soothing ointment to the body. Manduka Upanishad is the second part, suggests that until you know yourself, you cannot word Om. But if you chant the word Om, you know yourself. So there's connectivity. If you know yourself, you'll Om, you don't have to recite. It comes automatically to you again and again and again. And but I was really impressed that Om is these sentences make a lot of impact on me. Om is the bow, the arrow is the sword, Brahma the mark, By the undistracted man is the he to be penetrated. One should come to be it as the narrow becomes one with the mark. So when an arrow hits the mark, that's the Om. So Mandukya Upanishad opens by declaring Om as the sonum bonum, end all and be all of all world. Om is, as a matter of fact, all knowledge. Om A is Apti, obtaining something. Adimatamo, being the first. And the second element is you, Utkarsh, that's exaltation. And the last is M is Miti, erecting. And Apati, annihilation. So it covers creation, preservation, and destruction. Ganpati Upanishad, which is Ganesh, dedicated to Ganesh, refers to Om as a symbol of Ganesh and the concept of Brahma. So, in a phenomenal level, we find that it has a philosophical intent. Then Bhagavad Gita refers to it in chapter 9, verse 17. Patanjali Yoga Shastra also says, and Shiva condition, of course. And then, don't call it only Hinduism, even in Jainism. Om is concerned and considered the condensed form of reference. Buddhism, Om is used in some parts of Buddhism, especially Tibet and the Chinese, and is translated in the Chinese character, which means Din and Wang, meaning the beginning and the end. And if you go to Japanese, I was amazed, when I visited Japan. The term Om is a transliteration of the Japanese word A and Hum. Aham, that is self, ego. And new statues in Kyoto, prefecture of Japan, are interpreted saying, with open mouth and end of the syllable Om. Even the statues have been made, a series of statues. So if you look at the lips, you feel that the word Om is being used. Sikhism, Ekankar. Now, Ekankar, iconically, which is the most important part of Sikhism, is the opening word of Guru Granth Sahib, the sixth Guru. There is one God, Ek Onkar. There is singularity despite seeming plurality. And Ek Onkar is a part of Mool Mantra in the Sikh teaching. One God states the Guru Bani. And Om, Ek Onkar is basically a variation of Om in the ancient Indian scriptures. And Guru Nanak wrote a poem called Onkar, in which Donigar, a Sikh scholar, says he attributes the origin and the sense of speech to divinity. From Onkar came the mountains. Onkar produced Vedas. By the grace of Onkar, people were saved through the divine word. And Adi Granth, when it was translated, it laid a lot of emphasis on this primeval sound, Onkar. And then, come to the West. Who says West doesn't believe it? The Thalmic magical formula has Om, and they call it Omgam. The G is silent, so it becomes Om. It's a compound letter. Crowley, in his huge work, Magical Formula, says that Om is in fact the real magic of salvation. Now, how do you pronounce Om? The first letter A is pronounced as A. The second letter starts at the back of your throat and stretches it out. So, and this you start feeling your solar plexus and the chest vibrating. The second syllable is you, pronounced as oo, oo, with the sound gradually rolling forward toward your upper palate. So you start at the back of the throat and stretch it out. Then gradually roll back around your upper palate till your throat vibrates. And then the M is a prolonged M with the front teeth gently touching. And then you start feeling the top of your mouth vibrate. The last syllable after Om is silence, the deep silence of infinite. As intelligence rises from the deep silence, you have to merge your chant with M to deep silence. Om. Symbolically, the three letters embody the direct energy of Shakti and are the main characteristics of creation, preservation, liberation. So, the word Om has to be disconnected from the religious aspect. A. It works on 432 hertz vibrations, and the vibrations create, we know it. We say, this gentleman doesn't send me good vibes. So, this word could send you the vibes, the vibrations that make you feel peaceful, calm, poised, undisturbed. This is like the state of mind which Milton talks of in Paradise Lost, calm of mind, all passions spent. This is what in Sukhmani is called Brahmgyani. He is above all worries. You are in a state of Brahmgyan, the Sukhmani which I'm going to take up next week here. So, apart from the religious aspect, psychologically, neurologically, and physically, from the medical point of view, it's a de-stressing. The stress is removed. Is it stress busting? So neurologically, it gives you peace. It removes your stress. And spiritually, it makes you feel one with the cosmos. But at the more mundane level, it makes you, connects you to the consciousness and with the cosmos, with the nature. We are what nature makes us, and we make nature. And as a part of the nature, unpolluted, pure nature, Om connects you with that. And then, it's, as I said, it's not the people who call it Hinduism, I don't call it, because we have seen it, it exists in Dharmic, it exists in Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, Inca, as I talked to earlier. So there's hardly any part of the world except the pure Abrahamic religions which have not come to this, except that sentence. In the beginning there was word, and to the word everything came. No, what that word is, they have not defined it. Other religions, especially in Latin America, in Africa, and in East, Occidental, I mean China, Japan, India, Thailand, the word is defined. And Om is that word in its different variations, of course. And I found that there are 38 different variations of Om in different languages, in different cultures, in different areas, geographical areas. So the word Om, when you recite it, is one devoid of religious connotation. Philosophically, etymologically, neurologically, medical point of view, scientifically, is a word, the chant of which is definitely salvation. And I don't mean the salvation from the word, I mean as a living being, you become much superior, much better person, and you achieve that sense of exaltation. The last word is exaltation. So, there's a sentence in Gurbani, Naam Kumari Nanka Chadi Re Dina, that you're drunk all the time with that word of God. Now, divide it, remove the word God, but the word itself. That will make you feel exalted. And that's a state of mind that we desire. Thank you.